The workers will vote for me in 2020. Trump attacks big labor on Labor Day and says president of Democrat favoring AFL-CIO union likes his ideas. Until the cameras go on, president slashed at AFL-CIO chief Richard Trumka on Labor Day said union members should stop paying exorbitant due. Trump suggested Trumka is favoring Democrats with dues-fueled donations despite the benefits his economic policies are bringing to workers. Responded to union bosses' Fox News interview with a pair of tweets predicting low unemployment rates will drive union workers to vote for him. U.S. membership in labor unions dwindled to just 10.5% of eligible wage and salary workers last year. Unions are losing biggest in Indiana, Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania and Wisconsin, all places Trump needs to win again next year. By David Martosco, Hughes, political editor for DailyMail.com, published 14/22 British Summer Time, the 2nd of September 2019, updated 14/28 British Summer Time, the 2nd of September 2019. Donald Trump lashed out at America's most visible union boss on Monday, the third year in a row he has used the annual end-of-summer Labor Day holiday to paint himself as a better advocate for rank-and-file workers than the storied organizations that now represent a decreasing number of them. The president claimed in a pair of tweets that the AFL-CIO's members should stop paying exorbitant due, and that its top leader has been warm to the administration's ideas, but only behind closed doors. Just watched AFL-CIO President Richard Trumka on at Fox News and thought to myself how different he is on TV than he is when he is with me at the White House, Trump tweeted. That's what we're doing until the cameras go on. We got robbed on trade and everything else while his Dems just sat back and watched. NAFTA is the worst trade deal ever made, terrible for labor, and Richard let it stand. No wonder unions are losing so much, he continued. The workers will vote for me in 2020, lowest unemployment, most jobs ever, and should stop paying exorbitant dues. Not worth it. President Donald Trump tweeted on Monday, the Labor Day holiday, that the AFL-CIO union's members should stop paying exorbitant due, and that its top leader has secretly been warm to the administration's ideas. Trump went after Richard Trumka, suggesting that unions are losing so much because their leaders are too loyal to Democrats and that rank-and-file workers will continue to embrace the recent economic changes in the U.S. Richard Trumka, AFL-CIO president, it is pictured speaking to the audience before a Democratic presidential primary debate on July 30th in Detroit. Republicans have long complained that private sector labor unions use mandatory member dues to support political candidates who are nearly always Democrats. So far in the 2020 election cycle, the AFL-CIO's donations have gone 83% to Democrats, according to the Center for Responsive Politics. The nonprofit group has tracked the union's donations since 1990, finding a 15-to-1 split between Democrats and Republicans overall. On Fox News Sunday, Trump railed against the United States-Mexico-Canada agreement. The president's NAFTA replacement is unenforceable, he predicted. The U.S. will adopt a government-run, single-payer, healthcare system of the kind Trump has long criticized. And Trump claimed that the buying power of workers' wages has dropped during the Trump years, even though salaries have increased by about 3% in just the last year. Real wages were down last quarter and they were down last year, he said. They're being driven by rising healthcare costs and rising housing costs. The president said during a speech last month in Pennsylvania that if union leaders don't support him, workers should vote them the hell out of office because they're not doing their job. Trump also quoted Fox News Channel weekend host Steve Hilton on Monday from his Sunday monologue, praising him for presiding over a near-record jobs expansion. The president said during a speech last month in Pennsylvania that if union leaders don't support him, workers should vote them the hell out of office because they're not doing their job. Unemployment this year hit a 50-year low. With President Trump, we've seen the lowest ever African American and Hispanic unemployment. The booming Trump economy has pushed up workers' wages. Average hourly wages growth has far outpaced what we saw with President Obama, Hilton had said. The president released a Labor Day proclamation on Friday that claimed he has followed through on my promise to fight for an agenda that puts American workers first. Employers are paying higher wages, which are rising at the fastest pace in a decade, he declared. Jobs are consistently becoming available faster than people can fill them. Trump hopes to capitalize in his re-election bid on the overlap between unionized workers and the blue-collar base that has remained loyal in swing states despite depressed approval ratings in many other parts of the U.S. population. He performed better among union members in 2016 than any Republican presidential contender since Ronald Reagan. Meanwhile, U.S. membership in labor unions dwindled to just 10.5% of eligible wage and salary workers last year, according to Bureau of Labor Statistics numbers. Overall membership stood at 20.1% in 1983. Unions have shed 3 million members since then. A Pew Research Center analysis finds that unions are losing biggest in Indiana, Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania and Wisconsin. Those are places Trump needs to win again next year in order to remain in office. Much of the decline in union membership there has been a result of jobs disappearing as manufacturers flee to cheaper labor costs overseas. Trump's complaint about union dues points to a stinging blow in the United States Supreme Court, which ruled in June that unions serving government workers can't force non-members to pay dues if they don't want to. Those public sector unions have long complained about free riders, workers who enjoy the benefits of collectively negotiated salaries and benefits without paying into the system that generates them. But some economists now see foreboding writing on the wall for private sector unions like the AFL-CIO and United Automobile Workers as Trump appoints more and more conservative judges across the federal court system. The BLEs reports that more than one-third of government workers are unionized, a rate 5 times higher than the 6.4% of private sector workers who belong to unions. Let's block ads. Why?